Hey, what's happening? This is not a book review. I'm working on that right now, but I just want to talk for a little bit about something that I think is pretty important. So if you've been on Book Talk for the last couple of days, you've probably already heard about a situation or a drama or a controversy surrounding a reviewer named Hailey and an author named Matt Shaw. You might be sick of hearing about Matt Shaw. I'm tired of hearing about Matt Shaw. But before I get into what I want to say, I just want to make something inescapably clear. I'm not out to cancel anybody. Canceling's not real, at least not in the way that the internet usually means it. I'm making this video for a couple of reasons. One, I know that a few of my YouTube subscribers are also book reviewers, and so if you have a list of authors that you try and avoid reviewing because you're not sure how they will react, you may want to add Matt Shaw to the list. And if you don't have a list like that, this might be a good place to start. Two, I want to give a little commentary or share my perspective as a creative. And three, I want to talk about community and safe spaces and my community. Okay, I'm almost tired of talking about this, tired of hearing about this, so I'm going to do my best to summarize. A book reviewer named Hailey, I guess, included one of Matt Shaw's books in a video about like the worst book she's read in 2023 so far or something like that. And somebody sent that to Matt Shaw and he reacted in a really inappropriate way. He dedicated his latest book to Hailey, and it's like this 3-paragraph long author's note where he calls her a Nazi and a trout for not liking books or not liking his books, I guess more specifically. And that reaction alone is inappropriate. It's really childish. It's petty, but not in like a funny way. It's just pitiful. But also the book that this dedication is in is fucking weird. Like the title or the tagline or whatever is Romance Through the Eyes of a Woman written by a man. And I guess the whole point of the book is to like double down on his misogynistic portrayal of women. Imagine having this amount of free time and wasting your time and energy on a project like this. If I had this kind of time, I would catch up on my TBR. I'd spend more time with my little brother. So Hailey gets alerted to this dedication, and she responds the only way that she can, I guess. And she gives the book a 1-star review on Goodreads and kind of like says her piece. Comment section of that review goes nuts, and Hailey and Matt have a weird like back and forth, and I think he invites her onto a podcast or his podcast or whatever. Inviting somebody to debate you on a live stream or on a podcast is such a nothing power move. You're trying to get someone on your platform, basically like argue with you on your terms in your house. But it's just fucking whack. It's a waste of time. And I've had 2 podcasts. It's not cool. Later, Matt Shaw like posts a statement on Facebook, and I'm not going to read through the whole thing because it's way too fucking long. And it's bad, but he's basically just saying that he didn't do anything wrong. He should be allowed to write whatever he wants, which, no. Says something like people who play the victim are the worst, but also claims to be a victim and says that he's been getting death threats, which I don't really believe for a second. But even if that's true, that doesn't negate the fact that this behavior is wildly inappropriate and you're being shitty. Matt shares some really disturbing views about women and basically says that if you feel unsafe around an entire sex, men, you need like mental help or professional help or whatever, which is gaslighting, so fuck all that. I think, and it goes even deeper, like dude really hates Amber Heard and wrote like a torture porn book about her, and refers to any woman that he doesn't like as Amber, which is super creepy and weird and dehumanizing. This is like pretty out of pocket, right? But honestly, Matt Shaw is just another in a long list of authors who exhibit inappropriate, unhinged, unprofessional, dangerous behavior as a reaction to getting a bad review. And I say this as a fellow creative, right? Like, I'm not a novelist, but I am an artist. I'm no stranger to bad reviews and getting negative feedback. One time when I was busking, street performing, a guy walked up to me and said, "You seem like a nice kid. You shouldn't sing that song." And he put $10 in my guitar case, basically asking me to stop covering Maroon 5. And I've had people like DM me, email me, tell me that my poetry's bad and that my music's bad, whatever. No matter what you do, your work isn't for everybody. And if you release your work into the world, it's gonna get a negative review. The only way to protect your work from critique is to not share it. No matter how hard you work on something, no matter how personal it is to you, it is not immune to critique. And speaking very generally, it seems like authors more than any other type of artist don't seem to get that. A lot of them seem to think that if you like put out a book, you have like some sort of intellectual authority over everybody. And I blame the fact that like culturally we elevate academics and literature above other things. But honestly, any idiot can put out a book on Amazon. And that's not to say that writing a book isn't hard. I'm just saying that you're not better than everybody else because you wrote a book. I mean, like, good job, took a lot of hard work, you put your heart and soul into that thing, but you still got to put your pants on. And no literary achievement gives you the right to harass, stalk, or inflict violence of any kind on another person, especially for something so small as like a bad review. If you're going to be an artist in like a professional sense, then you need to carry yourself like a professional. Reacting to negative reviews in these ways is not professional. So if you can't handle that, if you're so precious about your work that you feel the need to harm somebody because they didn't like it, you shouldn't be an author because you lack the maturity and the inner resolve to work in the publishing industry. So in this drama, I guess you can call it that, Matt's behavior had a lot of women in the, like, I guess, horror community or the extreme horror community expressing how they often don't feel safe in that community. And Matt Shaw and his supporters kind of tripled down on their behavior, dismissed these women's feelings, and give them all the more reason to feel unsafe. Communities based around like genres and mediums are supposed to be fun. We're supposed to all come together and talk about and celebrate the stories that we love. It's supposed to be a beautiful thing. And in order for this to be fun, everybody needs to feel safe and feel respected. Often marginalized groups don't feel safe in these spaces, especially when the spaces are largely occupied by non-marginalized people. If a community member or a small portion of the community doesn't feel safe, the community as a whole needs to listen, reflect, and make some changes. But if you think that like listening and respecting somebody's feelings is too big of an ask, you shouldn't be in community with people, because that's part of being in a community. And in order to have like a safe, inclusive space, we cannot tolerate intolerance. Otherwise, that's all you're going to end up with. This is especially important in like a community that's dominated by mostly men, talking about an extreme genre. If you ain't care to help facilitate women feeling more safe and respected in these spaces, I don't think you get to be mad when they choose to avoid you. Like, if you ain't interested in being inclusive, I don't think you get to be mad when somebody creates a new space and you aren't included. I say all this because I don't fuck with this behavior, and I don't like people being treated this way, regardless of like race, gender, sexuality, any of that. It is really important to me that women, members of the 2S LGBTQIA plus community, the BIPOC community, and disabled people feel welcome and included on my pages. I want to talk about books and stories and have a good time. I want to be able to create a space where we can all do that. So I'm not going to tolerate any misogyny, any transphobia, any homophobia, any ableism, any racism, none of that shit. And if you don't rock with that, then I'm not the YouTuber for you. Anyways, that's kind of all I wanted to say. I'm not going to plug anything. Review coming Sunday. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'm tired. Peace.